Hello, Steve Mills here. Welcome to the Results Podcast. It's great to be here and to be once again sharing with you some tried, tested and proven ways to grow your business. And now today I'm really lucky because I'm joined by a young lady called Antoinette Chappell. She runs a company called Arc Copywriting. And it's great to have her here for many reasons. And one of the main ones, I think, is just the sheer value that copywriting brings to a business. So without further ado, welcome. Thank you very much for your time. And I'm really looking forward to our conversation today.
Thank you for having me, Steve. I'm really looking forward to it too.
Good stuff. That's my pleasure. So just to clarify, we hear this thing about copywriting. What is copywriting, and what's the value in it really?
Okay. Firstly, I'd just like to make the point that has nothing to do with copyright, which we see a lot at the end of videos.
Yeah.
We used to do DVDs. There's a W in it, so it's to do with writing. So essentially, I write words for websites and marketing materials.
Okay.
So a copywriter is someone who literally writes the words for online and paper marketing materials, for a website, pamphlet, poster, a sales letter, or an email marketing campaign, just to list a few examples. In this day and age, a copywriter is usually hired to write website content.
Okay.
Think about it, Steve. Everything these days that's sold online is sold because of the copy behind it.
Yeah.
So it's really important. People don't realise that, I don't think.
No. I think words are often the currency of business, aren't they? And I've known many examples in the world of marketing where things like a headline have been changed, and all of a sudden, the conversion rate's gone from 0 to hero. All of a sudden,
exactly.
there's
and
10 times more business.
Well, a lot of people don't realise you have to test it. So people, particularly headlines and things, you have to try different ones, and then when you hit the jackpot, you definitely know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you get into it? How did you become a copywriter?
Well, I've always been passionate about words and languages. My first degree back in the 90s was in modern languages, and I also have a master's degree in translation.
Okay,
I'm a translator from French, Italian, and Spanish into English.
Do you really? Wow, yeah. Fantastic. Oh, good stuff.
Yeah. All professional translators, you see, translate into the other tongue.
Yeah, right, okay.
You have to write well in your own language, so the translation reads well and not like a translation.
Yes.
And then back in 2016, I think if you're in the UK, you'll remember we had this minor vote thing called Brexit. And
I recall, vaguely.
I had a lot of clients in Europe, so that created a lot of uncertainty about the future trading relations I might have with Europe. There were also advances in the translation industry, mainly to do with machine translation, taking over human translators. So I thought, I really need to diversify, and I looked at what skills I had, and obviously I have lots of skills in writing well in English. So I thought, I'm going to become a copywriter. And so then back in 2019, I actually formally set up Arc Copywriting. So the one thing I find that is transferable from both of those industries is the fact that you have to know your target audience. It's key. You can't write, unless you know who you're writing for.
Yes.
You have to use the right voice and register, which in simple terms means whether you're writing in a formal voice or an informal voice. For example, if I write copy for a doctor's journal, it's going to be in a very different, what we would call voice. And if I was writing copy for something for teenage girls,
Yeah. It's an interesting point that, different people in different parts of the country and different, age groups, absolutely. Men versus women and so on and so forth. Right. We have a lot of different words that we use now even, and tonality and so on.
That's right. And then localization as well. For example, I probably would be the best person to write copy for someone in the middle of Missouri, USA, because I would not really be able to use the same language that they use in spoken language, because to do good website copy, you really have to use spoken language, but it has to look like written language.
Yeah.
Skills of getting, you have to be talking to your audience.
Yes,
where
I
their voice,
understand
and that's
that.
quite hard to do if you're, if like I say, somewhere in the deep south of America, that would be quite hard for someone like me to do in the same way that someone from California writing copy for someone like you in Portsmouth.
Portsmouth.
No,
Portsmouth. Yeah. It's interesting. I spend a lot of my time, learning from and listening to some of the world's leading marketing experts. And often, I might listen to a program of theirs, and then they'll say, right, here's some text. Take that, and you're welcome to use that in your marketing, be it on an email or social media. And they say, every time I do this, I get this fantastic result. It converts, and it's brilliant. And I send it out, and it doesn't work because it's it's a very different thing. The Americans, that I see, they're very. It's all about, do this and you'll make millions and it'll all be fine. And as soon as we see that, we go, yeah, right, bullshit,
We're a bit more cynical,
I don't believe that for 1 minute,
So what you should do then, Steve, is take that text, send it to someone like me, and I can localize it.
Well, perhaps we ought to build our relationship and us do that sort of thing. So
that's a whole other localization.
Yeah. So what sort of problems would a really good copywriter like yourself solve for a business?
It's all about converting leads into sales, as we know. That's why we're all in business, isn't it? And attracting customers to your website and traffic and engagement on social media. So a good copywriter can cover all of that. So whether it's writing blogs, as I say, to feed your social media and get people talking about you and your company, using industry-specific content and knowing your audience again, which is very important. A lot of people write their own blogs, but they're just a bit too technical. And if you're putting it out there and you're trying to engage with your clients, they don't necessarily want too much technical detail. They want to know there's authority, know what you're talking about, but you need to get that tone right, which is where a copywriter can help. And sort of other problems we can solve is producing email marketing campaigns with targeted sales letters and emails written again to attract new clients. That's what it's all about. It's about getting sales through the door by using words, really.
Do you know, I'm so glad you said that, because it's something I spend my life trying to do. Help people to improve conversion rates, and I totally and utterly agree with you.
So it's literally all about the messaging, and a lot of people are very good. They will know their business and their industry really, really well, but they're not very good at explaining it to other people and getting that message out there.
Yeah. So, what sort of mistakes do you see typically in typical business might write their own copy, for example, write their own website, and so on?
The use of I or we.
Okay.
And it's too much focus on the business owner or the company. If people go onto your website, they really want to see you talking to them. So it's like, oh, do you feel like you need this shiny new product? Do you have this pain in your foot? Well, this cream can help you. You want to be using you instead of I or me. That's a classic thing people do wrong.
I always remember listening to one of these American guys, and he said the trouble is people we all over their page, and whilst that was a double meaning there, I think he's right.
Exactly. People don't want to know what all about you and how fantastic you are, what great logo you have. They want to know, can you solve my problem? They've gone on your website with a specific problem. They want to know, how are you going to solve it? They also want you to solve it in a really simple way with a very easy call to action. So you've got to get those things right, and people often don't quite get that ordering right, in terms of, obviously that's more of a design thing, but it's got to be very simple. Do you have this problem? This is how we can solve it. Click here to find out the price, or how we can get back to you and solve your problem. That's where people use jargon a lot on their websites. which really needs to be avoided. It's got to be simple, clear messaging.
Yeah, I agree.
That is the main thing
I think if you think about a website, you got the design there, and so many businesses spend a fortune. I met one lady on one of my workshops that spent £50,000 designing a website, and it did look absolutely brilliant. But I know from having a conversation with her that the copywriting she'd done herself, and she'd spent zero money on marketing it. And she'd come to me because 6 months into since the launch of the website, she'd won virtually no business. And do you know what? Wouldn't it have been great for her to have spent 5 to 10 grand on design and a load of money on getting it copywritten and a load of money on marketing it as well. And
then, of course, with copywriting, you've got add-on things like you've got to factor in SEO and keywords, which as well people don't always know about. So there are many things. So those are the main things I think that people that write their own copy get wrong. And that was a brilliant example that you just gave. Another thing people don't do sometimes is use testimonials enough. They're really powerful on a landing page.
Absolutely.
Because they will tell the visitor who lands there exactly what problem you've solved for someone else, and it has authority. And so instantly people are like, oh, that person's got my problem. I feel I can identify with them. And they're so happy with how this company fixed it. So, the sale's virtually done with a really good testimonial.
Yeah. I totally and utterly agree.
I always do that.
My mum always taught me it's not what you say about yourself, it's what other people say about you that is true. And
your mum would have made a great copywriter.
Yeah, that's as true today as it was when I was a kid, which is let's just say a few years ago.
People haven't changed. And another thing people really respond well to in copy, if you have the time and the space, is stories.
Yes.
That's a brilliant way to sell something. You just tell a story of someone, even if it's as much as, dog owner, his dog had a sore foot and then went to the vet, they couldn't help him, but they bought this product and suddenly the dog's really happy. And, people with a dog with a sore foot or a problem, they're going to really identify instantly with that story.
I'm a big believer in case studies as well. That the testimonials are great where you've got your 2 or 3 lines, but having a big in-depth case study.
Larger companies, I think definitely case studies are really important.
Yeah, fantastic. And I suppose another area as well, I don't know whether you touch on this, is things like scripts. Having a sales script. All right, it's going to be spoken word, but it needs to be written, doesn't it?
Everything needs to be scripted, especially I think in this day and age with the lockdown situation we've seen globally and everyone's online.
Yeah.
And a lot of people now are doing their own videos, but they're not scripting them.
No.
And I think that comes across really unprofessionally. Because if there's too many ums and ahlings, it doesn't come across well. So definitely I can help with case studies, scripting. And that's actually, I've been talking this week to quite a few people who do work in the video editing sector, because I really want to get into scripting videos more.
Do you? Right. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a great opportunity. And, I'm a massive believer. You may know that, the future of websites even are video based, and I think there's some people that will not watch videos. Some people don't have even cameras on there, but you've got to have both. You shouldn't just rely on having a video. And, you've got to have the words there as well, because different people like different sort of styles and ways of doing it.
But I think the rise in, video has been accelerated by the lockdown, definitely, and I don't think it's going to go away. No.
I'm sure you're right. So what type of clients do you typically work with?
I work with a variety of clients, lots of small business owners who, classically have written their own copy and are wondering why they're not reaching the right audience or getting any conversions.
Okay.
I also work with marketing agencies people like yourself, obviously are dealing with people who are having problems with their sales. They've sought out a marketing agency, and the marketing agency has said, well, I've looked at your website and the copy needs serious work.
Yeah.
So marketing agencies, a Also web developers. Because obviously they often are quite technically minded. They love doing maybe back-end SEO. They love designing websites, but they really not interested in writing copy.
Okay.
They just want to cut and paste it in when they've done all the really cool coding. And also graphic designers, again, they love all the imagery, the design side, but they don't want to deal with the words either.
Yeah.
So those are kind of...
I often say to produce, marketing, whether it's a website or, leaflet or something like that, it takes a variety of skills, doesn't it? And, if you look at the skills that most business owners have got, typically they're skilled in doing whatever it is they do. They're
a technician.
They're a bookkeeper, so they've got bookkeeping skills. They're a landscape gardener, they've got landscape gardening skills. And really, I think it's foolish to believe that you can do copywriting or design or,
I totally agree. One of the things I always say is just because everyone can write, it doesn't mean they can write well.
That's
just
true.
In the same way, I can pick up a paintbrush, I can paint a wall, but it doesn't mean it makes me a painter.
No.
And as you said, I can weed my garden, it doesn't make me a gardener.
No.
So people need to understand it's always worth paying a professional to do the job.
I think it is one of the, in a way, most underrated but highest potential skills that there is in marketing or in business. If you can write copy that converts, and makes you more money in your business, what is the more important? I suppose maybe the selling is an equal thing, because the copy generally will convert get the leads into the business, although sometimes it's read the copy and just click a button and buy.
Sure.
And then the sales skills, which again is words, albeit
it's the art of persuasion, isn't it?
It is.
Around.
Yeah.
Every aspect of that funnel, I suppose we call it, has to be good at converting. Because if I lead someone through words to a salesman, as you say, that person or a business owner, they then have to be good at converting that, and literally closing that sale if it's taken offline.
So, what are you working on right now? What's happening in your business?
Okay, well, this week I've been working on content for a teachers recruitment website for the independent school sector, which has been really interesting because I used to be a teacher as well. So I quite enjoyed
Hence the good use of English. No, don't tell me you were an English teacher. Fairly obvious. Yeah.
No, I was a Spanish teacher.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
But so I really enjoyed that because I was able to get inside the head of a teacher looking for a job. So I knew exactly what things they would respond to. We talk about CPR in copywriting. Obviously, that's not like the medical term, CPR. Clarity, personality, and resonance.
Okay.
Important. So you want to make it very clear. Exactly what the messaging is, what the job is in this case, and then you want to bring a bit of personality to why you use this particular website to find your job, and then resonance. So what things are they looking for? What really is going to make... So in the independent sector, obviously, you've got smaller class sizes. It's easy to find some sort of resonance with them. You've got a competitive salary, etc. So that's one thing I've been working on this week. I'm also working with a builder who really struggles with his messaging.
Okay.
He's finding it hard. He's taken up a new business where he's working more of a loss assessor, so working for making insurance claims essentially, and dealing with loss adjusters, and he's finding it hard to convey to people that's what he does, and that people should call him first and not just take the insurance company's assessment. So he's struggling with the words on his website. With the words
to that, yeah. That's an interesting industry. We work with a company up in Wickham in Berkshire who did exactly that, and explaining the difference between a loss adjuster and a loss assessor. Was an interesting thing, because everybody's heard of a loss adjuster, but they work for the insurance company, don't they? And
exactly. And people don't even think to call a loss assessor. I was asking him to tell me about his business, and I I didn't even know these things.
Yeah.
Obviously, the insurance companies don't like to advertise their
No, because they're like the two. It's like two lawyers, isn't it? Coming to a compromise. So
that's
I fully
really
understand
interesting.
that.
And what I really like about working with people in that situation, they're ideal referrals for me because you get this instant gratification, when suddenly they can get their message out there just by giving them the right words and the right pitch at meetings as well, writing scripts for them.
Yeah.
It really makes me feel good inside anyway, just helping people, and they're so grateful. And you get that extra added value to your day.
Yeah, sure. I think we're kindred spirits because that's what gets me up in the morning, helping people. And because I really do believe, whether it's copywriting or branding, marketing in general, sales, it's a really tough game out there, and as I said, most business owners don't have the necessary skills to manage the financial side of the business, so they get an accountant, or the marketing side of the business. But often they, for whatever reason, they try and do it themselves, don't they? And they don't really have the training and the skills in order to do it. And sometimes...
Sadly, so many small businesses fail, don't they?
Yeah. 80% of them fail within 5 years, which is a real terrible statistic. And hopefully we can do our bit to try and make sure that doesn't happen as often as it used to, let's say. So if somebody, I don't know, they're getting a new website, they need leaflets, brochures, case studies, social media posts, emails, whatever it is, if somebody needs somebody to help them with their copywriting and they want to get in touch with you, what do they do?
Okay, well, one of the easiest ways is to find me on LinkedIn by my name, which is Antoinette Chappell. That's Chappell with double P and double L. Or you can contact me via my website, which is www.arccopywriting.com. So that's ARC with a C, A-R-C, copywriting.com. And if you're a member of BNI, you can find me using the BNI Connect app.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to say, Steve, if anyone wants a free copy of a guide that I wrote called The 10 Worst Copywriting Mistakes to Avoid, then please email me on info@arccopywriting.com. And if anyone listening would like me to perform a free 30-minute review of their website copy with some free recommendations on how to improve it, or discuss writing blogs or case studies or marketing materials in general, then please email me again at info@arccopywriting.com.
Fantastic. Well, it's been brilliant speaking to you today. Thank you ever so much for your time and for your expertise. If anybody... Sorry?
Thank you for having me.
No, that's my pleasure. If anybody wants to know anything more from me, then go to www.stevemills.co or connect to me on LinkedIn. Thank you again, everybody, for listening today. And look forward to speaking to you again on my next podcast. So thanks very much and speak to you soon. Thank you.